5.63 miles, 10 minutes, 3 seconds per mile, 143 beats per minute. Going for my first Zwift run today. It was a very weird experience, but overall, I think I really like it. It's something that I've been wanting to try for a long time. I get all the ads for it, just like I'm sure most of you guys get it as well. I just get a ton of Zwift ads. And after a while, it just kind of was like, all right, I think this is something I need to try. I've been watching a lot of Triathlon Terran lately as well, and he's on there a lot. Usually for him, he's on his bike in it, but he also made a video about running in it, and that got me thinking about it again as well. And I thought with Boston Marathon training coming up, and with it still being winter here in Chicago, it's hard to get in all the miles that I want to during the daytime. And so I'm thinking the treadmill might be a good way to do it, and I'm always looking for ways to make it more bearable and useful. For example, today, one of the things I did was, rather than keep up the pace on my treadmill run, I decided, with Boston in mind, that I would crank up the incline a little bit and gradually keep cranking it. It brought down the pace quite a bit, but I wanted to stay at about the same heart rate, so I was working harder to get up the incline, but also staying within my heart rate range that I wanted to stay in. And I was doing that. Normally that would be dreadfully boring, but with Zwift it wasn't so terrible, which was a surprise. So what is Zwift? It's a way, you basically have an avatar, and it tracks you as you're running, and you run through this like little universe. Now, I've done this before on lots of other treadmills. I've seen treadmills that have that kind of take you. There's a variety of different ways that they do it. Some of it takes like actual video footage, and then we'll key it to the pace of the treadmill, and you'll go through like this virtual, a video. It's not virtual, it's a real world video footage of a course, whether it's someplace in Monterey, someplace in the Pacific Northwest, whatever it is. I've seen that before. I've seen other ones where you get assigned like a random avatar and you're running through a virtual space as well. So I've seen things exactly like Zwift before, but for me, I've never had like an account. So I never have like the same avatar. I'm always just kind of randomly putting it in, and I'm always like random user 354938 or whatever, some just generic title. So this is at least one way that I can have the same avatar or the same name going through this universe, and it also lets me kind of keep track of stuff. Gamifies running, which gamifying things is the best way to get me to do anything consistently. So I'm all for that. So when I signed up, you tell it kind of like what you're looking for, whether you're looking for group runs or races or for training. I picked just general training, kind of asks you what you're training for and kind of like how like fast do you consider yourself, or you can tell it a recent race time. And then it kind of I think that does that to help you find groups and races, things like that. So once you're doing that, then the way that this works, because the app doesn't know, it's not tied to any one machine, so you can bring the app with you. So that it knows how fast you're going, you have to use a foot pod. And so I have the Stride foot pod that I use. There's also a Zwift pod. They sell one that's, I think, substantially cheaper that you could use for Zwift. So that way it knows how fast you're moving, or if you're not moving, things like that. So I paired mine. You can also pair your heart rate monitor if you're using one of those as well. I elected not to pair my heart rate monitor. I'm comparing a couple of different ones on a couple of different watches, so I didn't have like a third one to connect with my phone for the purpose of this. So I ran without a heart rate monitor as far as Zwift knows, although I'd had two different ones on during the course of this run. So you can look at that data, and all that data appears once you go on your run. And you can go for like a scheduled group run where a whole bunch of people will all get together virtually from their treadmills and their apps and start running a specific course at a specific time at whatever paces they want. Sometimes there's like agreed upon paces, or I think you could just go. I just kind of started running. So it drops you right into this little environment, and then you start running. When you run, the thing runs. And it's weird because you could see like different camera angles, which I thought was fascinating, and I don't think people talk about enough when they talk about Zwift. But just like I like to have lots of different angles when I'm running in terms of the footage that I capture, it lets you look at yourself in a variety of angles, and it's really funny. But also like it's nice. It helps like the time go by, which is kind of the big thing that a lot of us are looking for when we're on the treadmill. We know we'll get the workout in because you punch in the numbers and you get the workout in. but how bored are you going to be is like the real problem. And so I found it, maybe it's the novelty of it all, but I found it really interesting. It's definitely something I'll be doing more of. I'm currently in the trial, but I anticipate that I'll be using this somewhat regularly because it's a lot of fun. I think I could easily get myself in trouble though, because at one point, and I'm just trying to like still recover from a marathon, get ready for my next one, and I'm trying to keep it nice and easy today. And someone had passed me, and I was like, oh no, that's not going to happen. So I was increasing the pace, and I was like, I'm just going to pass them just to see if I can. I want to see how fast they're running. And then once I passed them, I then drilled it back down to my regular pace that I was running. And so like I think it's going to be really easy to just kind of like get competitive like that within the app, just because it's kind of funny to see, but also like you're gamifying running, so of course I made a little game of it. Now, in terms of data, you get a ton of data that you could see. You could see all like kind of your split information, your heart rate information if you have a heart rate monitor attached, your current pace, your splits, all that kind of stuff. You can also see the other runners that are around you and all their bicyclists that are around you as well. Zwift is, I think, primarily a bicycling tool. It's much more fully featured in that arena because of the way that you could set up an exercise bike to key into the app. With treadmills, you're a little bit more limited or a little bit less capable in terms of the full integration of it. But I think it's still a relatively fun idea. But you could see on the right-hand side all the people that are around you. And if you were in a group, those people would all stay near you. So like if there's 4 or 5 of us running at the same time, we'd all see each other's names. And you can even like text each other through the app. You can give like, it's not kudos like they call it in Strava. I think it's something weird like attaboys. It's really weird. Zwift is an American company. So like the encouraging phrases that you can give to other people that are pre-programmed to the app are not something that are in my normal vocabulary, but it's something like attaboy or something weird like that. And so you could do that. You could say things like, I'm toast, which I think is weird, but there's other like pre-programmed things that you can make it say, and you'd hear it in your earbuds. But you can also actually like type out a message. And I saw lots of other people doing that. But I had my phone, and my iPhone 11 is the biggest phone I've ever owned. But yet I'm running, and trying to look at this thing. I couldn't really see much of any of the data, and I definitely couldn't read any of the messages that were on there. So that's why I think I've seen a lot of people bringing iPads down into the workout room in my building, or maybe they're just watching Netflix. But I think that I'm going to need a bigger screen next time if I'm going to use this some more, just so I could see some of that information, because I'd like to be able to get that. Other things that are part of the gamification of it that I think are a lot of fun are that there's like things that you can unlock. So you can unlock achievements. Like when I ran my first mile in the app, it gave me an achievement. Lots of little milestones like that. You get points as you run more. You get XP, which I think is kind of funny. And life imitating art, imitating life kind of thing. And then you can also unlock new outfits, like new shoes and new clothes for your avatar to wear, which I want to say that I don't care about, but I kind of really care about that. So I'm really glad that that's an option as well. So I think like as much as I'm not a big fan of the treadmill, I've been coming to terms. I've made my peace with it as a useful tool in my arsenal. Like I don't love stretching, but I do occasionally stretch, that kind of thing. Using it as a tool in my arsenal for training. And I think Zwift is kind of fun. So I think I'm going to be in there more. My ultimate long-term goal for it, and it's going to be hard because I don't own a treadmill. I don't have a room in my our apartment here to put a treadmill. So I can't like set up a rig where I could see like a giant TV and have a camera that's on me for what I want to do, which is I would love to be able to turn this somehow into a place where we can virtually have group runs, because I love that group run idea. But like I can't run and type. I don't think I could figure that out. So even just sending the messages, I can't even read them right now, but just typing them I think would be really hard to do. And I can't set up cameras and stuff because I'm either going to be doing this in the workout room, which is a common area in my building, or at a gym. And so like I'm thinking the gym might work out a lot better for it because there's just so many more treadmills there. And I wouldn't be bothering like my neighbors that I live with and share the elevator with if I'm like filming myself as I'm running. But I'm trying to figure out a way where I can make this more like communal. I know you can make it communal with the other Zwifters that you're running with, but I'd like to find a way that like we can somehow connect with it, even if like maybe we're not literally communicating, but we could all be at the same place, like, you know, periodically or even regularly. I think that might be kind of a fun thing to do. Let me know what you guys think about that. I got to figure out a whole bunch of logistics in terms of how to get that done, but my mind's kind of going on that. I'm trying to solve some technical issues on seeing how I can make Zwift even more fun and more kind of like ludicrous / useful, like at the same time. I'm not sure I'm explaining that well, but I have some really crazy ideas for how I can make Zwift fun from like me providing content to you guys, but also I think it'll be just a fun way to be able to train. The main thing that I think I'm going to do for it is try to get on there weekly and have like a hill run where I just set the incline really high on the treadmill and just try to run for an hour. So that way I keep my treadmill runs to an hour or less, but still make it a worthwhile workout by making that incline a little bit higher. So those are my plans. Those are my ideas. Let me know what you think. Before I go for today, I do want to remind you about the charity runner for this week. This week, it's Jason Savageau, who's running the Boston Marathon and raising money for Massachussetts Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. After I donated my $70 and announced him as the charity runner of the week earlier this week, you guys have also followed suit as well, and it's so amazing, so impressive. He's not even done with his week of being the charity runner of the week, but already so many of you donated. I just want to take a second to recognize you guys and the great work that you guys are doing. Christopher North has donated money. Jeffrey Anderson, Niall has donated money. Mike Howes, Kevin Burmeister, some of you guys donating anonymously, which is just absolutely fantastic. Benjamin Torode, Philip Bourne, David Sachs, and Michael Sessler. And if you guys have been paying attention, a lot of these names are the same names that we've seen last week. So excited for that. Thanks everybody for donating again, but I'm also excited to see some new names that are in there, and I'm really thankful for the anonymous donors as well that are donating money out of their own pockets and not even getting any credit for it. That's just absolutely amazing. It warms my heart, makes me feel good, and it makes me feel so good that we're creating and developing this wonderful little corner of the internet and making the comment section of YouTube a great place to be, which I know in a lot of parts of YouTube it isn't. So thank you guys so much for making this an awesome place, and thank you so much for donating your hard-earned money to help support another charity runner. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video, and I will see you tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?